look at our filters. We just want to make sure it's all opportunities. We don't care how far out the close date is, but we do want the opportunity status to be open. So we could have chosen closed or closed one. Those are different reports, but this is the main thing for pipeline. Opportunity status should be open. Okay, so these filters look good for general pipeline report. Let's see, the other thing we could group by is stage. That should give us enough groupings for a pretty good pipeline report. So let's save this. And then we should be able to go back over to our dashboard. So last week we just added that simple pipeline report to this dashboard. So we only had one tile. Now we're about to make a few more. And then when you open a dashboard, it sometimes takes a while to refresh it. I actually just automatically did right there. So now we see our 32 billion versus the 5 billion. All right, so let's edit this and add a few more tiles. So this funnel is actually a very common version of a chart that people want to be able to see in an opportunity dashboard. So it's good that we already have that. I'll show you what went into that quickly. So if we just use the chart settings from the report, it would look just like this, right? With the bars at the bottom, not very great looking. But in a dashboard, you can actually summarize it a little bit better into a whole bunch of different ways, really. Different types of bars, pie chart, numerical. Some people just like to see it that way for certain sectors of the business. Even a gauge. You could specify that, 50 billion is the target, so this would be 3/4 of the way. But a funnel is also very common for opportunities that are open, because then you can see how far along things are down the opportunity pipeline. So you could take a look at the number of opportunities in each. So this is actually an interesting breakout, that you actually have a lot in value proposition, and that means they're pretty far along the opportunity pipeline. So let's go ahead and keep this one. We're not going to combine others into small groups. We're going to call this count by stage. So this shows you how many opportunities are in each stage. That's a good one to have. We really don't need it this wide. Just can make it a little smaller. Sometimes I even like to put the legend on the bottom. It's a little nicer in my opinion, and sometimes you could even get away with that gets cut off, so that's not a great user experience. Rather keep it 3 panels. That looks pretty good. So that's our count by stage. Let's also do value by stage, right? So one more funnel chart and we'll move on to other types. So we do want to sort by stage, because then it goes in order. So the things at the bottom, the smallest, are closest to winning. So also throw that on the bottom. And again, we can go, you want to keep it the same, probably all light or all dark themed. So let's make this one the same size first. Oh, we want to give it a different title. So let's say pipeline is also used to describe the amount. So let's say pipeline by stage. Okay, so we've got 2 pretty good charts out of our 5 required. I'm going to create another one. We were also going to work with type. So let's try that. Let's change it up a bit and go with bar chart like this. And we really just care about type, and I'll get rid of the other grouping. So now we can see existing customers versus new customers, what our pipeline is. sort that descending so the biggest is in the front if you want. And then we'll name this too. This should be pipeline by type. You can even give it a footer like so you get a little bit more context. So now we have 3 panels. Let's see what else. We already have a bunch by stage. So I think we're going to go ahead and create a version of this by effective date grouping because we don't have that ability. We can only group by 3 different options here. And you can see I can't group by anymore. I can remove and add a grouping, but it's only going to let me have 3. So let me get rid of type. I am going to add stage back because that's usually very important for grouping. And you don't want it this way because things repeat. You actually want needs analysis and the stage to be the first grouping here. So just like Excel, how you're managing your pivot table. And my last grouping is going to be the close date. So regardless of even stage, I care about when it's closing first. And I don't actually care about these days, right? I actually care about June, July, August more than the 31st versus the 30th. So I can actually change that here in my grouping. If I click this, group date by calendar month, that would make more sense for this. Now I have 4 in June, 1 in July. So it's a better grouping overall here. And then I'd want this probably to be a line chart. And our x-axis is our close date. So that should be pretty good. So at this point, I have to remember to do a save as, or I'm going to overwrite my original report. So let's go ahead and do that. We call this pipeline close date. Go ahead and save. It should be good. So now we can add it here. It'll always show up as the most recent. So pretty easy. And then we liked how we did it in the report. So you can always choose that and be done with it. You don't have to do anything else. Cool. So you can see things get hot in July, but really cool off for December. No pun intended. All right, so let's save our work too in case the browser logs us out or something happens. So we've already got 4 of the 5 we need. We're doing pretty good. We just have to figure out one more way to summarize the data. Got by stage, by type, by close date. Another interesting one might be by account. We should probably feature that here. So let's pull close date back down. We'll make another copy of this report because we might even have multiple under the same account. And if that's the case, we want to make sure we pull this account up to actually probably the first level because there might be multiple stages and multiple opportunities under that one account. And then for this one, let's go ahead and change this from a line. And we can go with bar chart. I don't think we've used yet. And I want to sort this descending. but not by account name. That's not so interesting. You can change what you're sorting by, which actually I care more about amount. It's already descending, so now Twitter takeover rightfully is at the top of this list. So that's cool. And then I can actually also change up this chart a little bit more, get a little bit more advanced and group it. By stage. Put the chart at the bottom, or the legend at the bottom. All right, so we might need to update some data to make this look really good, but I think we're in good shape. We need to remember again to save as. That's one common mistake, is to overwrite the old report and you've just undone what the customer wanted for your future vision. So make sure you do a save as here and say pipeline by account. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. Let's see what our data looks like. So I can actually click one of these right here. So you can see I have one without an account. That'd be an easy one for me to change to, let's say, Twitter, so that you have two different opportunities in that bar. And so from down here, I can always click this to edit. And I'm going to edit the account to Twitter. Take another look at that. This would actually be Tesla taking it over, but the graph looks better with Twitter. So, okay, so let's give that a shot. Yeah, so that's what I was looking for. You got two different bars, so they have almost 38 billion. Some of that comes from two different opportunities. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that component to our dashboard, pipeline by account. We might even want to use the same here. Now we've got ourselves a pretty good looking 5-panel opportunity dashboard here.